Presenting to the student of life university tremendous opportunities to gain insight and wisdom is not a light or easy task. Myself a student, I remember I am here as a messenger or transmuter of energies, vibrations, and frequencies emanating from Source. The infinite potential that surges within is the same infinite potential without. That is to reference the popularized phrase as above, so below, or as within, so without, and its demonstrations of power. From the symbolical references subliminally embedded into the mainstream media, note Greek goddess, Medea, meaning planner, schemer of entertainment, to the celestial luminaries, harnessing cymatic fields, or vibrational phenomena affecting both Mother Earth and the internal biological systems of all living organisms and electromagnetic biofields within. This collection of notes is intended to integrate a deeper inner awareness of the creative universe within oneself, irrespective of the common driving narratives that have been interwoven into the matrix and collective minds of humans as powerful, controlling, and manipulative current-day belief systems. Peaks and Valleys is designed to honorably convey to the reader an understanding of prana, or life force energy, how it can be manipulated, how to protect life force, power of mind, and effective transmutation of emotion, energy in motion, the dualistic and non-dualist remedies of the inner eye intuition, polarization of thought in the lower planes, and its relations with electricity and magnetism in the universe. Furthermore, discovering the layers of oneself and how to balance powerful inner energy fields well known as chakras, light and darkness, the internal blueprint of imagination, the spirit and its perpetual self-contemplation with its relation to the creative process, subconscious and consciousness, awareness, development of universal synchronicities, and more. Please enjoy this collection of notes, as it is designed to assist in your journey as much as you would like to reference it. You are responsible for the perception of your experience. We are here to remind each other of the divine powers within us all. Chapter 1, Part 1, Getting Closer to God. Prior to the first breath of a human, the fetus does not need oxygen from inflating lungs due to the placenta providing oxygenated blood through the umbilical cord. Communications exist between the biological systems present and are functioning long before conception commences, and the God intelligence force exists omnipotently in the all, the original womb, Mother Gaia, matrix. As this omnipresent life force exists in the matrix, we acknowledge its divine essence and intelligence capacities in the womb of the childbearing woman and in the breath of all life of all organisms on earth. Mother Earth herself is breathing, and she has been for much longer than I or anybody reading this book. An electromagnetic field active and busy, relaying frequencies to other celestial bodies, seemingly in communication with one another through mediums of cymatic and photonic transmittance and correspondence back to Earth, and every receiver attuned to these powerful energy bodies, near unfathomable lengths from one another. The consciousness field of the human is operating in the electromagnetic spectrum also, as we exist within the universal constructs of the matrix. The human consciousness, being a participant and recipient to these electromagnetic waveforms, has the ability to transcend what are common five sensory receptor stimulus signals to the brain and central nervous system in the lower sensuous realms. We have been intricately interwoven with existence to be one with all, carefully designed with infinite potential of the imagination and unique creative faculties, giving us a responsibility to infinitely expand consciousness as we traverse reality inside this physical vessel or avatar with the multidimensional experience. As aforementioned, we are traversing through waveforms across a vast electromagnetic spectrum, of which our physical bodies are capable of rendering an extremely limited percentage. The sensory capacity being limited to experiencing what studies show to be less than 1% of the universal waveforms interweaving inside the firmament. Well, let us go back to the term responsibility, or the ability to respond. Respond to what? God, intuition, emotions, gut, instinct, spirit, prana, potential, mind, feelings, heart. These frequencies are all part of the same divine machinations, as the different anatomical systems inside of the human body have specialized spirit intelligence, guiding harmonious operations. The universal band director and conductor. Yes, we have the divine potential to respond to this omnipresent life force intelligence, and we have the inner awareness to bring forth light to the darkest corners of our internal being, unraveling the spirit as it transcends to its sole purpose here in its period of self-contemplation, and beyond in its period of transcendence. Part 2. Getting closer to God. Practical application of Gnosis. In response to the light of the life spirit that shines through the darkness, your truth must be aligned and balanced internally by you. All of our energy patterns are our responsibility. For whom is supposed to be in charge of such thought habit forms other than the individual? We are here to help each other remember we are never alone, but rather all one. That we are self-sovereign beings who are not in need of government, or in other words, the govern, control of mente, the mind, ment. You are your own leader and always will be. Human consciousness has capability of harnessing through listening to the divine that is inside of you. The spirit will do whatever it can to stay alive when in a state of clarity. When one is at peace, listening not with the ears, but living from the heart, connecting to the heavenly serenade of the cosmic strings emanating the firmament and the eternal realms of the oversoul. The all-present universal power is electromagnetically transmitting prana, life force, through highly advanced biological systems. Breath intakes oxygen, which chemically activates the blood in the body to move through a complex venous and arterial system connecting all functioning of the systems together. Now, what part of this do you have to worry about on a daily basis? For most, humans are generally not thinking about breathing, we just breathe, similar to the heartbeat. We don't generally think about the magnetic vortex of energy that is propelling a mechanical power, producing constant electrical output with an electromagnetic field that has been noted to be many, many times greater than that of the brain. Anywhere from 100 to 5,000 times stronger magnetically and 100,000 times stronger electrically, and can be energetically detected in part of what is known as an aura or toroidal vibrational field surrounding a human body, not seen with the naked eye. Kirlian photography has presented energy fields existing and flowing internally and externally in living tissues of plants, animals, and humans. Cymatic arrangements, sometimes with telescopic assistance, of ancient, long-known luminary bodies we call planets, dance in a theatrical chronology for billions of years. All this to say, these frequencies that are neither created nor destroyed are in a field of infinite potential, constantly rearranging and reorganizing when a certain vibration or frequency field begins molding creative potential into order into the material plane, spirit into matter, chaos into order, and taken form as a physical manifestations in the creation field. The combination of spirit and matter is you, astral traveler. The boundless potential to be is within. Getting closer to God, that is to say, to be honorable with your actions. The essence of all exists as an endless flow of potential energies or possibilities constantly coursing through the breath of divine spirit in synchronous mechanical and spiritual operations, self-contemplation, much of which is still beyond our full comprehension. Part 3 will further discuss practical application one can utilize in the matrix to go within and unravel the passion, meaning passio, or to suffer, pain, which is the opposite equivalent of pleasure, meaning, non-dualistically speaking, pleasure and pain are the same coin. It is one experience to the universal mind and to the spirit. For powerful reference, let us refer back to the first paragraph of The Mother Bearing the Child. One can acknowledge the pain that is the experience with joy, pleasure and love that fills every inch of the mother after birthing her newborn into Gaia, our womb, Mother Earth. Part 3, Getting Closer to God. Life has no purpose. The purpose is life. What is possible in the human experience? harnessing the ability to protect and control prana, utilizing mind and enabling flow states of creative purpose in the mind to cultivate boundlessly in the faculties of the imagination? Yes, a sovereign king or queen you are, as your intuition is God. The relationships you have with everything is your life experience. As within, so without. Who do you listen to? Does most of your life experience consist of consumption, that is, to the external world? Do you spend any time practicing meditation, or in other words, quieting the external world and directing intentions to the internal world? As the spirit perpetually contemplates self, have you given time to listen to it? Surprisingly, to those who have not traveled the multiple dimensional planes of their collective existence with all that is, one will soon acknowledge it does not require special abilities, as the divine in all humans are collectively of a divine intelligence force that is our responsibility to protect and develop individually and together bring human consciousness collectively to deeper awareness. That is, with all people, with thoughts, with your habits, with your actions, with nature, with inanimate objects, with technology, with the plants, the animals, with your dreams, the breath you are taking this moment, with memories, with your silent whispers and words aloud, with all that you consume, with your emotions, with the mind, with God. Your relationships are everything. Money, your coffee cup, how you put your shoes on, everything. How you talk to yourself, how you talk to others. Now, here are some words to take into consideration when developing strategies to optimize healthy energy patterns, eliminating unwanted energy patterns that serve no purpose, transmuting energy patterns that are resourceful but are currently being misdirected, and internally tap the reservoir of prana effectively. Please take your time in this section to study carefully and review the notes as much as necessary. This is to utilize in your tool belt. Okay. Integrate a reductionist mentality when implementing solution to the energy patterns that are being focused on. That is, do not overcomplicate or overthink. Do not add multiple supplements to your routine. Do not expend your prana to anything out of your control. Separate from external stimuli serving no higher purpose. Eliminate consumption of processed foods as much as possible. Reduce entertainment through digital mediums to a minimum. The goal is to redirect the intention of will. That is, what we're being distracted by is taking our attention. Okay? So the goal is to redirect the intention of will, of prana, your life force, to a healthy mode of production. We must practice a deeper connection with our internal being, our life spirit, constantly in a state of self-contemplation. That's that inner voice. Now that we have respectfully quieted the external stimuli, the individual can practice attuning the senses to the internal universe, the spirit, God, all. Integration of this practice will strengthen the mental and astral planes, as the overstimulation which is now taken away is not negatively affecting vibrational patterning of the thought waveforms in the mind of the individual, allowing balance, equilibrium to exercise itself. And opposite of balance is disease or dis-ease. I would like to make a special note here to suggest to the reader something to remember. That is, one does not have to be in complete silence to access communication with the inner planes. And you will, as you practice meditation or expanding the infinite creative process within, that there's always sound. It's just finding the sound in the silence. Okay, that is, one does not have to be in complete silence to access communication with the inner planes, realms, dimensions. This harnessing power is within and certainly available as long as the individual is in commune with the internal life spirit. It is also important to note a key word is balance, as one can be subconsciously, unknowingly manipulated and disrupted by controlled radio, light, sound, and other electromagnetic frequencies in their environment. Okay. Once practiced and comfortable, the individual can better understand the elusive powers of distraction and the utility of harnessing higher thought frequencies and cultivating faculties of their own inner creative God essence. At this time, we will reflect as much as necessary the relationships with all that we do, which is the life experience, which is the paragraph earlier. And for you, for the readers, you can get a pen and a piece of paper and write down, maybe add to the ones that I suggested in this material and add the ones that you participate in every day. These are rituals. There's no different than a ritual for a religion, or a ritual for how you put your shoes on. It's all routine. It's rooted in your energy pattern, rooted in your muscle memory. The more that you do it, and it strengthens that habit. It cannot be explained enough the importance of this section. Please give direct intention to your feelings and emotions as deeply as necessary and be one with all that is. That's just to embrace both sides of you, your light and your dark, okay? Acknowledge both and embrace it and let it congeal and find a balancing point and breathe. Please give direct intention to your feelings and emotions as deeply as necessary and be one with all that is. Certainly, this can be a stopping point for some as it can lead to discomfort. However, I strongly suggest you to stick with the course and without force, allow yourself to feel. And once you breathe, people who have expressions of their art, maybe you're baking something, maybe you're a painter, maybe you produce music, maybe you're a writer, maybe you like to be with nature and study the plants, maybe you like to study, coding for computers, whatever it is that inspires you and sparks the fire inside, carry on. Okay, expand from that. And remember, this is about balance. That's why embracing the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the evil and goodness is important. We all have a piece of all of this within us. This full embrace with oneself enables amplification of electromagnetic communications with the chakra system, including the heart, which we will dive into further detail later on. The flow of chi or ki, prana, life force, can now begin to be redirected at the agency of the individual. And this is just conscious. Your awareness of it is now heightened. We will study these miraculous systems and how to take control of the currents of our thought waveforms and biological systems. This section will provide detailed information to reprogram the subconscious mind. At your will. This is at your will, with your intention, not allowing external influences and distractions to program or suggest make impressions on the subconscious without your awareness. The energy patterns of habits that are keeping the individual in lower vibrational states of being, which are, thoughts and emotions, can and must be broken to allow one to harness the sacred fire, the Godhead energy inside of us all. We're all working to maintain that 98.6 degree Fahrenheit homeostasis, right? There's a fire inside of us all, a spark from the divine. Furthermore, please note that the creative process of the individual in its purest and immaterial form is ever present in the perpetual self-contemplation of the life spirit that is infinite, it's boundless, it's everywhere. That is the sacred fire, the soul fragmented and fractal of the omniscient oversoul, of which each and every vibrational waveform of existence is inextricably interwoven with one another. God, the All. We have reviewed some important notes to consider as we step from the outer edges of the forest and begin traversing deeper wilderness. This course is not designed to change your mind. It is designed for you to harness power of mind and traverse the highest planes of thought and astral planes of potential energies at your will, and explore the perpetual creative process of the spirit. The next chapter, Harnessing Power of the Mind, will bring to attention the importance of perception, how to neutralize and balance perception, and understand non-polarization in spirit and mind. The inner world is but a direct reflection of the outer world. As above, so below. Chapter 2, Part 1, Harnessing Power of Mind. Heaven is in the mind within you, astral traveler. Love is heaven, love is light. Light is born from the darkness. The continuous cycle exists every day and night, interweaving what appears to be on the external planes. We look up at the sky and observe as the ocean blue ceiling that seems to encapsulate our existence fades to black and opens a ceiling of flickering luminaries millions of miles distant. Humans are one with this outer world projection, as all constellations and celestial bodies are moving through internal energy systems of all forms of living and non-living, ethereal and material realms. For the human, we contact internal darkness directly when we shut our eyes from the light of the external world. This is an excellent time to pause for a moment and read again the last sentence. That is, we contact internal darkness directly when we shut our eyes from light of the external world. This vital note is acknowledgement of the life experience of human beings entering internal darkness every single day and night cycle. Our interactions in the darkness are so common, we overlook the fact that happens every day of our waking lives as we dream and traverse astral realms, both during restful periods and waking periods. Is darkness a portal? Now, back to the stars above. Astrological mapping was conducted for thousands of years by humans to develop a deeper understanding of the universe. Whilst mapping these vibrational fields of moving luminaries, sometimes miraculous, spontaneous light shows, atmospheric depressurization, and molecular discharges have been recorded as past phenomena throughout centuries. The zodiac is but a mapping of internal vibrational fields of human consciousness for us to resource in its highest frequency forms. Many mythologies were designed archetypically to represent what appeared to be omniscient energy forms that were displayed not only in the heavens, but also in the surrounding environmental biofields of electricity and magnetism in the material plane. For some, this seemed to be magic of the gods, unexplained phenomena striking emotions of fear into the subconscious of many. For other individuals, a deeper curiosity and intention led to profound discoveries, seemingly far ahead of their time. This is noted to bring forth the unraveling of mythologies to etch into universal collective mind a rendition of their own belief systems, including branching developments of philosophies and religions. Regarding the last two paragraphs, these systems have been interwoven into the collective mind and have become undeniably and eternally linked to human consciousness, into the subconscious mind of all that is. Similarly, belief systems can increase the power of their existence by harnessing thought frequencies of populations of individuals with limited, like-minded ideals and programming their systems of belief. Part 2 of Harnessing Power of Mind will explore the programming constructs inside of the matrix, how belief systems shape human consciousness, how to develop personal internal belief systems, and utilize the power of the subconscious mind effectively. At this time, please reference the relationships notes in the previous chapter. This will carry forward into assuming responsibility for the energy patterns we are expressing, transmuting, and redirecting, along with developing awareness for pattern breaks and vibrational redundancies that are causing tension, stagnation, and imbalance in the electromagnetic biofield of the individual. Part 2. Getting a sip of coffee. Harnessing Power of Mind, Subconscious Programming, the Internal Sun and Moon, the soul and the mind, respectively. Body, mind, and soul equals earth, moon, and sun. As above, so below. As within, so without. The human being is manifesting reality from the inside out. The individual who wills to assume responsibility of the mind, power, and its faculties recognizes the direct reflection of mind to matter, or material plane. Most of the human mind is recognized in psychology as the subconscious, a collective storehouse of everything that has existed in the life experiences of an individual, or Akashic record. A storehouse capable of compartmentalizing every vibrational impression it receives, and that is absolutely accessible to the individual attuned with the inner realms. The spirit nor the subconscious mind are influenced by polarities in the material plane. In other words, it does not distinguish between you or I, but rather exists in the higher vibrational fields of the universal chakra system as divine collective intelligence life force. This is a great time to pause on this note, understanding that the programs in the Matrix are heavily influencing both the individual and collective consciousness of humans. This is not to suggest that anything is particularly good or bad. Again, the non-dualist mind of the all exists with non-polarity. In lower vibrational fields, in which we commonly refer to as matter, polarity parameters of thought frequencies can interrupt the natural divine flow of the life spirit. A stagnation in energy, especially in the chakra fields, can arise when polarized thought or habit patterns develop without inner awareness of transmutative capabilities. The chakra centers experiencing material plane include vibrational fields such as power, food, and sex. The lower material planes enable the much smaller portion of our consciousness, the conscious mind, to transmit vibratory signals stemming from an incredibly powerful central nervous system that is plugged in to constructs inside of the matrix seeking pleasure and gratification. This, dear students of God, is a huge note to remember. The human experience in the material plane is the purpose and responsibility of the soul journey in the physical vessel or avatar. The two eyes that perceive light on the external planes must not be the primary source of light one consumes. The light from within, born from the darkness, imagination blueprint, and subconscious mind, is the eternal source and sacred fire that the external world is distracting the student of God from deeply convening. This brings the reader to furthermore strengthen the objective of these notes, which includes practical application and expansion in the life experience. Part 3. Harnessing Power of Mind, Breaking the Pattern Loops, and Closing Thoughts. As we approach the end of Chapter 2, the individual has now been given access to understanding how to reprogram their energy patterns and relationships existing in their life experience. To review, please see notes on pages 17 through 20. Please effectively experiment with exchanging one unhealthy habit, negative energy pattern, with another healthy, productive habit, or a positive energy pattern. If you could choose to, then do that alternatively. At the very least, applying some or all of these methods will expand your consciousness and assist in the redevelopment and transmutation of patterns in the individual's relationships, both on the inner and external planes, your thoughts and actions. This will develop deeper commune with the creative process within the individual, which is, you got it, the spirit, the life force, the prana, God, and all. Before the student continues to Chapter 3, Expressing Consciousness, please consider review and reference of previous chapters as one continues to dive in the following notes as much as necessary. A focus of this material is to honorably present utilities the student can resource internally and be one with the mind and all that is. A gentle reminder that this book is not here to change your mind. This is for the spirit on the expansion of truth along the life journey in this matrix, unraveling an inward adventure of many peaks and valleys, expressed on multidimensional fields of existence. And you are one with all, astral traveler. Now, let us advance into the expressions of consciousness, a compilation of personal notes important enough to my heart and spirit to dedicate an entire chapter to the subject matter. Chapter 3, Part 1, Expressing Consciousness. For the purpose of this chapter, The reader will be suggested to allow imagination to ponder the way human beings are coded expressions of soul and mind, essence of God consciousness, material body, and spirit. The chakra center of the throat is a powerful expression of consciousness, physically manifested from the higher spiritual centers in the human being and transmitted through vibrations of the voice box or larynx. Vibrations create sound wave forms as air passes through them, with which the powerful human instrument of voice becomes exercised into the material plane. This is briefly noted for tangibility and practicality, as the magic essence behind the eternal energy flow to the chakra center is interwoven with soul and subconscious. All of what humans communicate come from some form of consciousness, mostly the collective storehouse of the subconscious mind. As aforementioned, this life experience exists inside of a matrix system, a construct comprising of an immensely vast spectrum of intricately woven patterns of frequencies and vibrational waveforms. The individual is exactly this, in the form of divine technology, intertwined of both spirit and matter, as one consciousness with all that is. Now, shifting consciousness to the heart is where we are directing focus. This is imperative for allowing energy flow through the throat chakra center and connecting directly with the heart. This will allow the voice to originate from the purest and strongest electromagnetic area of the human body. This can be assessed through methods introduced in Chapter 1, Getting Closer to God, which is advised to be reviewed again and again for guidance and application of the material as one continues to expand. A goal of understanding the subject of expressions is to be the best you through mediums of creative potential embedded in your unique coding, ready to be unraveled from the inner realms of mind and integrated into building and expanding perception. As the spirit contained in the vessel continues to self-contemplate, the responsibility of the individual focuses intention inward, silencing the external to awaken and convene these powerful, creative inner potential energies. Prana, or life force, is now the medium of which the student who has developed a proper attuning to their unique coding can interface and manifest through expressions as a divine life spirit inside of a technologically advanced program, a physical vessel, a human body, a Mother Earth. Part 2. Expressing consciousness, emotion equals energy in motion. When humans are unable to be correctly processed, when human emotions are unable to be correctly processed, energy blockages begin to form in the thought activities of the individual, as well as tension or misdirected energy in the body, causing imbalance or disease. This disruption of prana is commonly known as stress, specifically emotional stress, leading to ailments and lower vibratory states for cancer bodies to potentially invade and replicate uncontrollably. One can easily note how vitally important understanding our emotions can be, and how these vibrational states of feelings trigger internal response systems in the primal coding of the individual. If the emotional energies have become disrupted, possessive forces latch themselves to the lower vibrational thought forms associated with uncontrolled feelings. These forces are the demiurge existing in the matrix, negatively affecting the electromagnetic biofield of the human possessing the spirit, and capable of causing extreme vibrational imbalances, addictions, overindulgence, parasitic sickness, and dis-ease for extended periods of time. Developing protection of prana, creative thought force, and proper emotional expression techniques will encourage the voice to emanate from the heart chakra, love, and raise the thought and emotion frequency fields of the individual for deeper insight. The light of the spirit carries the sacred flame through the darkness of the subconscious. Insight, or inner sight, inner eye, intuition, God, is the light of the divine spirit, born from the blueprint of darkness, where imagination and visualization are vital tools in the powerhouse of the mind for the individual to harness and utilize in the matrix construct. Having the ability to critically exercise and cultivate in the mind and imagination without disruption or distraction is one of the most notable and incredible technology features of the synchronous miracles in human anatomy and physiology, and the psychological capabilities one may harness and develop with an inner awareness and willful intent. Part 3. Expressing consciousness, healing thyself, and closing thoughts. And get a sip of coffee. True healing is built into the human nature, and always will be. The mind heals the body, as this life force intelligence, some call by the name of God, is perpetually alive in vibrational expressions, permeating the firmament, Mother Earth, what many call today the sun and moon, as well as the other celestial luminaries. This God intelligence permeates all that is. The real world, or reality, for the individual is constructed within mental states of realization, thought frequencies, and imagination fields. This is crucial to note, astral traveler, for the external world is but an array of photons, electromagnetic light frequencies from the sun, eternally flowing and arranging in this Gaia matrix waveforms field, across a spectrum with which humans have been plugged in by the brain and spinal cord or central nervous system. This external world sensorially limits the individual to a physical perspective, as the material plane transmits stimuli via the 5 senses, with all 5 of them directly jacked into the coating of a simulacrum. The outer world is but a picture reflecting the inner world, as within, so without. Extended notes referring to the material plane will be presented in the final chapters of Peaks and Valleys. With that addressed, we will transition into Chapter 4, Managing Relationships, to assess the importance of understanding how to utilize the heart chakra, harnessing the prana reservoirs of boundless capacity to love, and in-depth perspectives of practical applications for the magus to integrate into their energy patterns, their thoughts and actions, if desired. Yes, Astral Traveler, you are the alchemist. Chapter 4. Part 1. Managing Relationships, Heart Chakra, a Balancing Center. We have noted the importance of the higher energy vortices in the upper chakra systems, the connections to one another in the realms, and perpetual flow of higher frequencies flow from source into creation. This chapter, regarding the heart chakra, will describe this vital energy center in the human electromagnetic biofield as the balancing center for the upper and lower planes or dimensions in the human consciousness and life experience. Please consider reviewing any personal notes one has recorded up to this point and reference earlier chapters for a mind refreshment. The paragraph below will greatly assist with this. From Chapter 1, Part 3. That is with all people, with thoughts, with your habits, with your actions, with nature, with inanimate objects, with technology, with the plants, the animals, with your dreams, the breath you are taking right now, with memories, with your silent whispers and words aloud, with all that you consume, with your emotions, with the mind, with God. Your relationships are everything. Now, getting right to the point, the balance point, that is, when individuals become consumers in modern-day first world environments with accessibility to all the conveniences, choices, freedoms, and services that exist, the systems of consumption begins to flood the natural biological system, the biological human system, stagnating the flow of human consciousness and redirecting the flow of energies in the biofield, the chakra systems, and to an imbalanced pattern looping in the lower material planes or hell. Pause here. This is a critical note, and coming next is a key to unlocking the heart chakra, the equilibrium point for the 7 chakra system. Relationships in the lower, material self are ensnared by the physical nature of the self, the ego, transmitting emotions and actions into lower energy patterns such as greed, impatience, gluttony, addiction, lust, overindulgence, envy, etc. The word heaven reflects balance in the mind, the spiritual self, higher self of the individual, manifested inside the body, harmonizing both spiritual and material aspects of our being, and living from the heart or equilibrium. Part 2. Managing Relationships, a reductionist method. At this time, please review the reductionist method on pages 17 to 21. Everything we experience is based on a relationship we have with somebody or something. Advancements in nano and biotechnology continues to intensify, and the reliance and dependency on technological services are merging with the collective consciousness of human life. This, dear friends, is no God for you or I to depend or rely on for anything. We'll pause, go to page 17. It actually starts on 16. Here we go. Integrate a reductionist mentality when implementing solution to the energy patterns that are being focused on. That is, do not overcomplicate or overthink. Do not add multiple supplements to your routine. Do not expend your prana to anything out of your control. Separate from external stimuli serving no higher purpose. Eliminate consumption of processed foods or minimize it as much as possible. Reduce entertainment through digital mediums to a minimum as well. The goal is to redirect the intention of will, of prana, to a healthy mode of production. We must practice a deeper connection with our internal being, our life spirit, constantly in a state of self-contemplation. Now that we have respectfully quieted the external stimuli, the individual can practice attuning the senses to the internal universe, the spirit, God, all. Integration of this practice will strengthen the mental and astral planes, as the overstimulation, which is now taken away, is not negatively affecting vibrational patterning of the thought waveforms in the mind of the individual, allowing balance, opposite of balance being dis-ease. I would like to make a special note here to suggest the reader something to remember. That is, one does not have to be in complete silence to access communication with the inner realms, planes, dimensions. This harnessing power is within and certainly available as long as the individual is in commune with the internal life spirit. It is also important to note a key word is balance, as one can be subconsciously and unknowingly manipulated and disrupted by controlled light, radio, sound, and other electromagnetic frequencies in their environment. Once practiced and comfortable, the individual can better understand the elusive powers of distraction and the utility of harnessing higher thought frequencies and cultivating faculties of their own inner creative God essence. At this time, we will reflect as much as necessary the relationships with all that we do, which is the life experience, which was read previously in the paragraph a couple minutes ago. It cannot be explained enough the importance of this section. Please give direct attention to your feelings and emotions as deeply as necessary and be one with all that is. I'm going to go ahead and get back to page 48. You get the gist of the reductionist method. Please feel free to pause this at any time. Take notes at your will. This will be available on YouTube for you to refer to anytime. Okay, here we are. We're back. Just to refresh, this was the sentence that we left off at. Advancements in nano and biotechnology continues to intensify, and the reliance and dependency on technological services are merging with the collective consciousness of human life. This, dear friends, is no God for you or I to depend or rely on for anything. To clarify, this is not to discourage one from the utilization of technological advancements for healthy and benevolent purposes purposes for self and others. Nor is this to say any particular thing is good or evil. It is both, and all is one, inside of you and I too. This is to rather encourage the individual to let go of the energy patterns that are stagnating the life spirit. Potential energy will flow and will begin to flow powerfully in the body. This is the reservoir that builds up when you begin to sacrifice some of the lower aspects of the nature of your habits and energy patterns, and in turn your prana, your life force, is going to build up strong and become a powerful reservoir for you to access instantaneously as you cultivate and develop the mental faculties and the creative potential within, which is the contemplation of the life spirit as mentioned. So let's continue. Potential energy will begin to flow powerfully in the body, and when the individual rids overconsumption and the capability of transmutation grows internally, with inner consciousness expanding, reaching what some refer to as Christ consciousness, living in harmony with intuition, embracing love, and being honorable with your actions. This will conclude the first learning section of Peaks and Valleys. I hope you have found insight with some of this material. This is only to be a utility in the tool belt of your consciousness. You are responsible for awakening the dormant thought forms inside of your university or innerverse, developing and refining these techniques along the life journey to be useful. This material may be used as a stepping stone again and again until reference is no longer required and full benefit has been attained by the spirit of the reader. But that is it, and let it be used for nothing more. We are here to help each other remember we are all one, part of the source. The infinite creative potential surges through your being. Tap in. All right. Every moment is an opportunity to learn, listen, and refine the processes with which one has formed all relationships through. If the student has already began to notice patterns in their life experience, in their codes of reality, this synchronistic awareness has already been activated within the consciousness of the individual. It is an incredibly powerful building tool for the mind. Once initiated into perception, can be consciously brought into recognition or acknowledgement at any moment in time to assist with clarity in decision-making and critical thinking. Another way to express this power is pattern recognition. Humans have an exceptional ability to develop awareness for patterns as creatures of habit and imitation. However, the levels of repetition and persistence in developing energy patterns can be dangerous without proper guidance, and conscious awareness of practicing a habit is magnetizing the emotion, energy, and motion, whether the individual is consciously competent of this or not. Take note, internal awareness is the key to personal pattern development and synchronistic awareness. This can be noted on the external planes, of course, but first, this perception is held in the eye of the mind and manifested into the physical world as reflected and refracted light frequencies shaping human perspective optically through the two eyes on either side of the middle eye, the sixth chakra center, the pineal gland. It has been traditionally referred to as the third eye. However, I personally would suggest replacing it as the first eye for practical application regarding this subject matter. Part 2, Synchronistic Awareness, 4 seasons of the internal clock, and the inner zodiac. All of the seasons are moving through the consciousness of man, perpetually reflections of the soul and body, as are the zodiac maps in the sky moving eternally through our entire being, as well as the elements of aether. Fire represents spirit, air represents mind, water what represents emotion, and earth represents body. And speaking of synchronicities, the student has traversed into deep wilderness and so far successfully developed tools for understanding how all that is happening in the outer world is but a mere reflection of the inner world. Patterns of personal relationships have now reflected themselves in the patterns of the seasons, the constellations, in the chakra system, and in the awareness of the spirit. The student is aware that creative potential is boundless and cannot be measured. Likewise to the incalculability of the capacity of mind, and all that is within is all that is without. At this point, let us briefly note the symbolical references that dominate the pockets of the modern world around you. These energy patterns should give an idea of who and what is corrupting and trapping the consciousness in lower vibrational fields on Mother Earth with black magic rituals. Or, in other words, collective, premeditative, malevolent thought patterns expressing through specific shapes and symbols intended to transmit or impress into the subconscious mind of the individual subject to these vibrational stimuli when introduced into their environment, potentially on strategic and carefully planned schedules. I do believe most students who have given intention of expanding their truth have taken notice to this, and what we reference as demonic or satanic influences exist. Keep in mind the polarization parameters and belief systems that are being upheld by egregores or collective thought forms in the matrix. If the angel and devil are on either shoulder, one must reference neither and refer to Source, God, or the first eye. Once attuned to the inner sight, one can successfully raise the thought frequency above the trapping polarity parameters and redirect energy patterns accordingly to further protect prana and harness creative life force. As we expand to Chapter 6, Protecting Life Force, the student will be given a brief note to assess in order to raise their overall frequency and protect the life essence of their being. This will be concise yet powerful, as the male recognizes the vital importance of controlling their seed, and the female recognizes the vital importance as the mother and the womb, carrier of life. We have some time, so we will get into Chapter 6. Let me please get a sip of coffee. Okay. Protecting Life Force. The first portion of this chapter is in regards to the protection of sexual energies, reproductive organs, and sacred fluids of the individual. The demiurge mentioned earlier exists in lower planes and traps energy in the lower aspects of the human being. The demiurge assimilates looping patterns, usually consisting of all weakening forms of pleasure, gratification, and comfort, exhausting the spirit and altering vibrational frequencies of the individual to an unstable and imbalanced state, weakening electromagnetic fields, biological and neurological systems, and their functioning. This is a critical note for the reader as one develops a relationship with their partner and harmonious efforts are conducted for a successful conception, if willed. This is also assistive to the relationship one has with self and raising awareness with spirit to protect prana from the lower possessive forces of lust and refraining from engaging in non-meaningful sex or vacuous relationships or tending to parasitic organisms seeking your life force energy. As for application, the first chapter, Getting Closer to God, details key codes for the material of the entire book. This is not designed to be confusing or to shift the student into another paradigm of thinking. This is designed to empower the will of the creative process of the individual, awaken the divine life spirit to further expansion across the universe inside the mind and consciousness of the alchemist. Your transmutability is your creative life force and quite literally responsibility within. Every instance the individual discharges sexual and reproductive fluids without pure intention, life essence is negatively exhausted instead of preserved. Continuously retrieving and depleting from the potent prana reservoir in the body leads to a stagnation or pattern loop, blocking and stagnating energy flow, specifically in the second chakra center, the sacral. This is noted as a specific energy center for the individual who is making conscious efforts to heal and balance this area of themselves. In other words, developing healthier relationships with these lower energy centers in the student is vital. It is important to mention here The keyword, relationships. Notice that the student is not suggested to separate or remove themselves from feelings in the lower chakra centers, including the gut, the solar plexus, relating to will, personal power, self-identification, metabolism, eating, self-esteem, directly attached to the cerebrum by the vagus nerve and the enteric system, which is commonly called the second brain. The root chakra at the base of the spine, relating to control of vitality, stability, security, and, as previously mentioned, the sacral chakra behind the belly button, relating to sexuality, pleasure, relationships, empathy, and creativity. The soul journey consists of balancing all 7 of these powerful faculties of the human consciousness through honorable creative expressions of action and spirit, which is contemplation of self, requiring increasing efforts of the individual to willfully work with both spiritual and material or animal aspects of the nature of their being. Additionally, resourcing the higher intelligence force to harness these faculties into the field of creation through the electromagnetism of the heart, equilibrium, the most potent and powerful toroidal biofield produced by human consciousness. Third, utilizing thought frequencies and feeling emotions, energy and motion, with intentions to keep the vibrational fields of the bioelectromagnetic currents healthy and balanced. In efforts to keep the contents of this material in an easily digestible format, rather than repeating certain notes in greater detail, I, the author, humbly leave the true expansion process outside of the contents of these pages for you. After all, these are simply guide notes for the student to reference during the life endeavors one may be challenged by. The chapter pertaining to synchronistic awareness and pattern recognition will assist with detecting the synchronous universe from within at thy will, enabling expansion of the spirit and giving one agency of personal energy patterns inside the matrix construct, Mother Earth. Nothing exists outside the laws of the universe in the Gaia matrix, as the higher order of divine intelligence operates as God and is everything. Generator, operator, destroyer. As the student develops awareness of the ability to harness and respond to higher consciousness, the more powerful the creative process in the life experience becomes. That is, to cultivate faculties of the imagination, breath, prana potential, understand and manifest love in the highest forms of frequency. In exchange, the student willfully sacrifices indulgence in the lesser and lower parts of the animalistic nature in order to develop deeper insight, wisdom, intuition, control of breath or divine life force, or prana, and enhance overall well-being. Polarization in the material plane has become well recognized to the student by this point in time, as well as previous methods which have been developed, and understanding has activated the non-dual connections of equal opposites inside of the polarity designs of the matrix. This knowledge can be strategically applied to the material plane, for the alchemist realizes the transmutability of thoughts and emotions have unlimited potential, and the ability to manifest anything must begin from the inner universe and flow into the creation field. The student has inner awareness of the darkness, the subconscious mind, blueprint of the imagination, and the ability to willfully practice visualization. Harnessing emotions and feeling everything brings an extreme intuitive clarity to the individual. Understanding the power and ability to respond is within the chaos field first, before it reaches the physical plane to manifest into the coded creation field. The chaos field is internal in the mind of all human consciousness, and within the infinite potential of the individual mind is the harnessing power to bring thought waveforms from chaos into creation through the equilibrium or balance of the electromagnetic field of the heart. Additionally, we have noted how to develop awareness and agency of synchronicities and pattern recognition, transmute energy patterns to higher fields of frequency for healing self, and helping other individuals remember they are capable of accomplishing anything in the faculties of the mind. The student has acknowledged identification is shaped through mind, not material. Special abilities, equipment, or architecture are not required for an individual to convene with God. The cultivation of all relationships determine the human experience. And you, traveler, have now become a wolf, connected in the deep wilderness. Embrace this place. It is the most magical place for you to utilize and resource as endeavors persist in the life journey. This is now home, wherever one may be. One possesses instant accessibility to traverse this magical universe and harness the infinite creative potential that lies within. One might have heard the phrase before, home is where the heart is. The student is now fully embraced with one, with prana, removed veils of polarity parameters, and understanding spirit, the self-contemplative life force, and its perpetual emotions, energy and motion. As a reminder, this material is compiled for the student to review any time along their adventure and utilize at will. There are not secrets, it has been said. Everything is hidden in plain sight. The student unravels the deeper meanings behind this message as one attunes to the inner universe and quiets the overstimulation and distractions of the external world. With boundless potential to unlock, there is no need for I, the author, to keep your time wrapped up in 700 pages of background notes. This is more than enough to take a few grains and integrate what rings true and resonates with your spirit. I truly intend this material to become a healthy relationship pattern with the reader and never anything more or less. I have poured my prana into this for you, and I hope you feel the love and power as you internalize the contents of Peaks and Valleys. An additional note from the author. Dear friends, readers, family, supporters, and to whom this may concern. From my heart, thank you so incredibly much for your love and support. I am inspired by each one of you who has interacted with me and contributed to my life experience. I am honored to present this material to you and for these notes to be a small contributor and positive influence in your life experience. We are here to help each other remember we are a part of one consciousness. If you will, share this with someone you love. I will be presenting material as time permits me to do so. And thank you again. If you would like to contact me directly, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. This is not professional or medical advice from a doctor. I am simply just the alarm ringing to the spirit to live its highest purpose in human consciousness. With love.